Hi, everyone, and welcome to section number 2 of our action planning webinar. So I wanted to just be able to take you to what we're going to call success stories today. And how do we succeed achieving goals? And what are some shares from our top leaders that had some really incredible success changes from Q4 to the month of December? So I'm going to take you to just a preview of what is a prelude to these ladies or leaders that are going to share with you today. So let me share my screen really quick. All right. So welcome back to section 2 of January 2020. I wanted to share with you something we did in the Amber region. You may have heard about it, you may have not. I wanted to make a change. I saw that in the Amber region, we were having some great successes during the trip, during Los Cabos, the first quarter of 2019. And that was because we had some great success stories happening. Whenever there's a trip, you always see some growth in sponsoring, right? Which then sponsoring is the only way you're going to see new leaders. And so because of the double dip trip and the promotions and what Jaffa was doing, we were seeing some success. And then the brakes went on. And I had an epiphany. I will always tell this story. Many of us, some of you here from North Carolina, like Esther, and many of you were with us as we attended Gabby Gutierrez's Gabby Gutierrez's event that she hosts she has a retreat day for her entire district. Gabby is an ambassador with Jafra, and she had over 100 leaders herself from her district at her one-day retreat. And it was awe-inspiring. They had more move-up leaders, first-time DM3s, directors, car achievers in that room than we had in our region. And I watched and I thought, wow, her district is as big as our region. And I sat with Hudith that day and I said, Hudith, you're general manager, if you don't know who that is. And I said, Judith, I said, look at this incredible success. Leaders developing leaders. How cool. I wanted to try something different in the Amber region. I spent about 4 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, thinking, brainstorming. I networked with everybody in the industry. I studied the top trainers, coaches, speakers out there. And I interviewed companies. I did a lot in a very short time. I was ready to see growth for you. When you grow, we grow. Jafra grows. Your lives are enhanced. Other people's lives. So I wanted to develop a program, a pilot program. I went to Hudith and asked for tens of thousands of dollars to do this. I've not done this in my career. I've been here 20 years this month as a regional, not done this before. But it was time to be different. Just what the mantra was in section 1 today. And you know what? I went out and I saw who had been participating within the region. And I said, if you want this, it's open to you. I went to our upper level leaders. I went to some different groups that were coaching. And I only had room for 15 people. I interviewed about 30. And we were going to test a program of how do you quickly make habit transformational changes in sponsoring and promoting. As leaders, selling is the most important part. It's 50% of your business is sales and building your business. But you only grow the multi-level marketing side. You only take advantage of where all the income really lies when you're sponsoring weekly, building your team, direct and indirect, and promoting leaders. First-time new leaders is always the success formula. So we went into a program. I'm not going to explain it all. I'm just going to top note it and let you hear from some amazing leaders today. So here we go. We called it the Success Squad. It started at the end of October after 4 weeks of organizing, putting it together, whatever my brain thoughts were. And we called it 8 Weeks to Greatness. After interviewing many trainers, coaches, and programs, I ended up investing in Neil and Dana Phillips. What did we do? We learned a few things. And I'll show you the system we have to help all of you this year, because if we learn the program, we could duplicate it. And you're all going to have a piece of this should you want it. What did we learn from them? And then I'm going to let the testimonies of these leaders take the last 15 minutes of this part of our webinar today. We learned there are only 3 activities that help you build in direct selling like Jafra, a party plan business, and a multi-level marketing business. There's only 3 key buckets. 1 is your personal business. 2 is sponsoring or recruiting. 3 is developing leaders. They based us tracking our time, not thinking about it, but doing it. Actually, minutes to activities. And they divided the pie because they've spent 20 years studying the best companies, the best direct selling, the best training. This is a proven formula. It's not just made up. Based on a 20-hour work week, you spend 10 hours a week on your personal business. That is booking parties, hosting parties, facials, doing setting up sponsoring interviews, posting on Facebook, going out prospecting. It's working on your results. 10 hours a week, no matter what level of business you are. We even had Gabby Gutierrez here. She came in as an ambassador and completely shifted her results, and even found a day off to 2 days off a week that she's not had in over 20 years. This works. 10 hours accountability, planning your calendar to work the business yourself, because you can't teach others to do what you don't do, right? Number 2, spending 6 hours calling people and inviting them to join, following up and interviewing them to see if it fits, and then helping them get off to a great start, onboarding, launch parties, developing them to earn welcome to Jafra and VIP, and sponsoring their first 4. So inviting and developing. And 4 hours a week looking for leaders. How many times a week do you call and invite people like Jackie did with Jennifer? That's a daily or a weekly process, not something you do once a year. Or when you meet someone new, your BIR, that's an old term, your reports are filled with people who it might be their time. People's lives change drastically every 90 days. So every quarter, you've got a chance to re-invite them to see if the timing fits. It's their time. So 4 hours of just saying, I want to invite you. I thought of you because, whether it's their results, their qualities, or the actions you see that they do, they're always loyal, they're always showing up, just like how I picked my squad. Then interviewing and see if it's their time. Then partnering with them to develop them to get there, like Jackie and Jennifer, but now getting them off to their first 90-day success start. This was a formula that has proven success. To keep it simple, because you need to hear from them, I just wanted to share you what they're going to probably mention. It's called OCI. That in order to sponsor, in order to invite leaders to your team, you want to observe them, you want to compliment them, and then invite them, whether it's to the business or to your leader team. I'm going to ask Chris Uribe, would you mute yourself, please? Thank you. That's called OCI, where you're asking permission to get together with them. You're not telling them in the phone call. You're just doing a quick 1 to 5 minute call to say, I observed this about you. I love this about you. I want to invite you. So at the end of the day, here's our formula that you're going to hear from 3 people that are going to share today, and we're going to share again 2 weeks from now on our goal achieving. They had to do a tracking form because our focus was 2 things. They had to earn the quarterly bonus. That was their goal, to get to that quarterly bonus, promote first-time new managers. They had to turn in a weekly report. How many recruiting conversations, OCIs, what were the results? How many leadership conversations or invitations? Who did they identify that said yes with a date? And who were their new managers? They met every Monday morning, 9 a.m. on time with their camera, with their microphone for 90 minutes. You're going to see that in your calendar, by the way, for the leaders this year. They had coaching every week, one with the Phillips, one with me, one-on-one or in a pod group, no longer than 15 minutes. They had upline support from their managers weekly or monthly, if they had one, or they had a buddy that they connected to. And again, they turned in their reports for accountability. The team results were incredible. Everyone grew. Many hit their target. 33% hit the quarterly goal. Over 33% achieved a first-time new manager. And some of them did both. But the other percentages who didn't do one or the other completely had growth in their sponsoring. You will see those results on our next webinar. The key was that we learned together we grow. It's taking the formula, 50% is personal business. Then you can see the rest of the 10 hours left, 60% goes to sponsoring and 40% to leaders. If you are here and you can't work 20 hours, then you do the same percentages in 10. But it was amazing. Instead of calling people and being a dump truck, they started to just invite and then meet with them for an interview to see if it's a fit. Those were the lessons of an incredible team. We had 15, by the way, who stuck with it week to week. I couldn't be more proud of each and every one of them. There were times they wanted to quit, but what's going to happen in quarter one as a result of this is amazing. But you only can hear the best from the best. Today I've chosen 3. You'll continue to hear from each of them in different series throughout quarter one. But today I wanted to spotlight with their quick testimony. What did they do to achieve success? So please help me welcome. I'm going to get off my screen here. Help me welcome first. Right next to me, I've got Vicki Hoover. Vicki Hoover did amazing in December. She's coming to us. She was literally, and I'll let her say it, but this is what I saw as a part of this. She was like, oh, I just can't do it. I can't make this change. And guess what? She decided in December, if it's going to change, it's up to me to change. And because she got frustrated. Oh, I watched her get frustrated. And she went out and took control and started to change. Vicki Hoover. Vicki, tell us your experience and what happened, because you had an amazing sponsoring month again back in December. Take it away, Vicki, and thank you.
Thanks, Jackie. Jackie always makes us feel so good when she introduces us. I really loved this program because it showed me a lot actually about what I am doing and what I'm not doing. And you all know that I do really well in personal sales. I love my clients and I do really well with that. But what I didn't really realize, because I haven't been doing it, is the OCIs just changed everything, because just observing people and complimenting them on their characteristics, not so much outward but inward of what you see in them, changes everything. Because it's easy to say, oh, I love your lipstick or whatever, but when you see somebody that you really think would do well in the business and compliment them from the heart, it makes such a difference. And we got this cheat sheet, success qualities. So I started, writing people down that I wanted to observe, compliment, and invite to my team. And I would write next to their name one of the success qualities. So I would call them and invite them. Jackie, it's great having you as a client. I love that you love Jafra and you are so sociable and you just make everybody feel at ease and you're so easygoing. I think you would be great on my team. And they would kind of go, okay. And I say, can I talk to you more about it? Instead of going on and on and on about what it is, what I want to do, I would set up a time that would work for them. And it makes such a difference. It really does. So that was a huge change. And then the other part of it was reporting. being accountable because we think we do a lot. I mean, I thought I talked to people about sponsoring a lot, but I didn't. So when you start writing down the people that you actually are talking to in a conversation, it makes a huge difference. And that was one of the sheets that Jackie showed too. I think it really helps having a partner, and Gail has been a great partner to me for a couple years now, and we really work together on that and help each other. So if you don't have a partner, I think that really makes a huge, huge difference in your business. But just tracking the time that I spend. I spend a lot of time on my personal business because I love that, but I'm not doing as much in the recruiting, and that really, really makes a difference. And the leadership, talking to my people about stepping up and doing more in Jafra and what more is to them, and really listening to them. But one of the things that I really love sharing with people is this. I mean, we have so much support here, and there are so many women out there that have nothing. They don't have friends, they go to work. I mean, Tom calls me the counselor because I talk to people all the time, and they don't have anyone to talk to. And so many women would do so well if they just had what we have. And really, if you share that from your heart, it makes such a big, big difference. So thank you, Jackie, for having me in the program, and I plan on doing way more with this.
I know, it's so fun. I mean, they did a lot in 8 weeks, everyone. Oh my gosh, it was transformational. Accountability, habit changing, tough coaching. I mean, we were pretty like, okay, but wait, your numbers are telling you, right? So I love it. And everything that this squad went through in the pilot program, you all have the tools. We did that so we could learn, but help everyone. And so again, just absolutely amazing. So thank you, Vicki. I was so proud to see you just flip it. So she really got in that place of, I can't do this. Maybe it's just me. And she turned it. It was such a joy to see that happen. And you went right back into, I think you had 4 sponsors, 3 sponsors, 4, I don't know, but your team just started going right to that track. So we know it's going to be amazing for 2020. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for digging in and learning with us. Appreciate that.
Thank you for your support. And I think we all get to a point where we want to quit, but really, why? Because what else is there out there? This is the best. We're in the best company. We have the best product, and we have the best support. So, I mean, really, don't give up. Don't ever give up. That's my motto. I am not giving up. I love Jeff. I'm never giving up.
Good. And again, keep that $500 bonus in mind. You're going to see, ladies, all that we went through set you up, and that we're sharing with all of you is setting us up for New Orleans, because the trip is very similar to what we went through with the Success Squad. How do we do it as leaders, but how do we influence indirect sponsoring? Many of you could go sponsor and earn a trip, but the key is you're not developing others to do the same. So all that we bring to you this whole first quarter in development, and we're doing this with your teams, you're going to see that we apply that right away, so that someone like a Jennifer, who's a new manager, is going to go right into the quarterly $500 bonus, because we're teaching that from the future managers to the new managers, and we're focused with everything about direct and indirect sponsoring, direct and indirect branches. That's what MLM is about. So it was a great formula for all of us that we're sharing with all of you. All right, number 2, Carol Boyer, are you ready for your 3 minutes of fame? Carol Boyer took on the team as well. And Carol also kind of went through this, I can't get anybody, right? And I'm telling you, it was like, there was this turnaround, and she started inviting people differently, started noticing people. So proud to say that you could see Carol in December. She earned recognition for top personal sponsoring and top team sponsoring. She turned that around. A month of 9 sponsors in her team, that's rock star, but promoted a first-time new leader. And Carol, that's like the best part. So Carol, tell us your top few minutes of your tips and takeaways, and congratulations.
Yeah, it was tough because what I thought was going to happen in the middle of November and up until even early December wasn't happening, because that was like, hey, that's a given, and it turned out not to be a given, because I had one of my former managers say, I'm going to sponsor 4 or 5 of my good friends at my open house, and I'm going to give them an offer that they can't realize. Great, but this particular former manager will not share her whys with me. So she's gonna be hard to coach. She doesn't want to share why. She doesn't want to share why she wanted to do it. So that's going to be hard. Another person that was a manager, but then it was no longer a manager anymore because she came in as a new consultant, had great hopes for her. And she was doing the program for 3 weeks, engaged, got it, told me what she was going to do with her OCIs, her observing, her compliments, and her inviting. And after 3 weeks, she went, ooh, she was what Cheryl Sykes goes, she went on walkabout. She couldn't be found, they couldn't find her, and blah, blah, blah. So all of a sudden I go, well, I kept asking this one person who had never been a manager, have a party, have a party, have a party. Because she can't afford to buy her Jafra unless she, I said, that's how you're going to get your products to be paid for. So she had a party on Friday the 13th, and 13 is my lucky number. And she had people coming, and she had some of her other people that I met through her. And we said, oh my gosh, we're going to get you to be a man. You've got 3 people so far. You only need 5. She did her order. Her sister did. I was working on New Year's Eve up until 3:30 or 4 o'clock. I didn't want to work on New Year's Eve. My open house was not supposed to be on New Year's Eve, but some of these people couldn't come unless it was New Year's Eve during the day. I said, well, you got to get here by 1 because I got to start my stuff for just my family, but it's, my tradition. So it turned out I just knew that the person that was the guest of the consultant that had her party on December 13th, that this guest couldn't come, was going to join because I met her before then. We talked, etc. But here are the things, the takeaways are, as Jackie said, the personal business, really concentrating on the 10 hours for personal business, 6 hours for your personal recruiting and other recruiting, and 4 hours at least for developing current and promoting new leaders. And yes, Pat and Shavika, I'm going to be instilling this to you. Taking the success surveys that we had to do at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end taught me some things that I needed to know I had to do. And this coaching was tough love. Let me tell you, it was tough love. It was to be accountable and to know what you were doing. So my team recruits and groups are things that I need to concentrate on. It's an area that's that. And I love the fact that we had access to these TC Pro website with a vast array of trainings. I've got them ready to go for anyone in my group, future and present, to do. And treating the training for developing current new leaders, that it's a recipe. It's just like, everybody knows that a recipe that has certain outcomes has to be done with the right ingredients. It has to have, you can do some alternates like using margarine instead of butter. I'm a butter person, I'm sorry. But nevertheless, treating your ingredients the right way, doing the steps it takes, or else the recipe will not come out right. You need to train your folks that want to recruit, that want to promote, to follow the recipe. That's all it is. Follow the recipe. We've got the scripts. We've got the qualities that Vicki Hoover talked about. So without that, neither will you recruiting. The recipe, the cake, the chicken, whatever you're making won't come out right, and neither will you recruiting or you're promoting. So that's it.
Carol, congratulations. It's so true. It happens to all of us, right? We start with this list, and that was happening to Carol in the midst of this. Remember, it was 8 weeks to promote a new manager and earn a quarterly bonus. So this was like rush, 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 right? And the best part, Carol was just frustrated. She had gone through a list. She really OCI'd those future leaders. And then, oh my gosh, one went away. One went in hiding, right? One just wouldn't coach the way she kind of wished it would happen. She planted seeds. She did the right thing. She observed them. She invited them, and lo and behold, she just started taking those right practices and continuing to say, let's hold a party. I believe in you. Let's get this going. And here it was again, just like Jennifer, December 13th, here's a party. And she was like, not going to have a first time new manager, not even going to get close to that bonus. I mean, she missed it by a hair, you guys. She's going to have a quarter one. I'm so excited for her. So, I mean, 9 sponsors in December. I think she's got this thing, right? But think about that. Literally, it's December 13th, and she just said, let's go. And she stuck to the end. Everything we saw in the first part of our webinar today about how do you go beyond, these are practices that Vicki and Carol are sharing about going beyond. And it worked. And how exciting. Carol has a first-time new manager, happened in again about 2 weeks' time. And that is just what belief is, sticking with them and going beyond measure. So congratulations, and thank you so much for sharing and participating, Carol. All right, we have number 3.
I do want to add that the indirect that was sponsored under Abe Darlene Dolly Brody, that's her name, is Abe Darlene Brody. She is interested in management, and she was in another direct skincare line, and she already sees that Jafra's so much better. So we're looking for that indirect coming out very soon. And she's planning to come to conference.
Thank you. Congrats. Because that's what's actually shifted a lot, is that we invite people to leadership versus judging if they are one, right? So right away when they're joining, they're interested in growing a team. That was really a big, big change. So we have one more. You saw her. She was #1 team sponsoring queen, tops and personal sponsoring herself. Let me just give you a quick snippet about Jan Iverson. Miss Beautiful Jan Iverson from Montana. Oh my gosh, she was so struggling. Oh my gosh. She got sicker than a dog the first 4 weeks. She still showed up. She was still there. She'd still send her reports in when she could, but I got to tell you, she just felt midway through defeated. Like, oh, it's not for me. But she showed up beginning of December. They only had a couple weeks to go. And there was a shift. I'm not telling you anymore, because live with us today to tell you the power of a mind, a decision, and what you focus on is what you get. Let's hear it for top in the region, probably one of her best months in a long time, Jan Iverson. Woo-hoo!
Thank you, Jackie. And it is true. You certainly do a good introduction. I just think to start out, and I know many of you are married, and my husband Clancy is the opposite of me. And when we got married, I was a procrastinator. He was a get things done guy. And I remember years ago, we had a district promotion where we had to sponsor so many, and I mean, it was a big number. And I was down at the last month, and I had a huge number of people to sponsor, and I really wanted this bonus because it was a big bonus. And I told him, I said, okay, for the next couple of weeks, I'm not going to, you have to feed yourself. You're going to have to do everything because I've got to focus in on this. And he said, well, it's too late now. And I went ahead and did my work anyway. Well, we had to sponsor 13 people, and I was down to, I had sponsored 12, and it was the last day. And I had exhausted everybody I knew. And I sponsored all my nieces, all my cousins, everybody. And anyway, here I was one short, and I went in the living room and I said, you're right, I missed it. It was too late. And just then the phone rang, and it was a lady wanting Royal Almond. And I said, do I have a deal for you? And we sponsored her and got the bonus. But anyway, but Clancy said when I had only one left, he said, well, you can't quit now. And so there I was. Well, when I started the Success Squad, I did so because I really wanted to do what the goal was, because my district needed that boost. And I told Clancy at the beginning, I said, it's the 8-week program, and so for 8 weeks, I'm really going to focus in on my Jafra business. And then of course I did get sick and didn't do piddly. I was terrible, and I really wanted to quit because I knew that I couldn't do it. And I talked myself into giving my enough time. I thought I'd wait until Thanksgiving and then I would quit. And anyway, and I told Clancy that. I said, I just don't think I'm going to be able to do this. And he said, oh, you're over the hill. You can't do it anymore. And so that was all I needed. And so I ended up getting to work, and I really did start. And then once I started feeling better, I really started focusing in on it. And it was wonderful. We had a wonderful month, and it worked out great. But in the first part of December, and I just wanted to share this one little story. I was in. We got to go to the Legacy House, and in the airport on the way back, I saw this lady, and she was an airport employee, and she had a yellow vest, and anyway, I watched her, and in fact, I actually said I needed my water jug filled up, and I wanted to know where the water fountain was, and she told me, and I was watching other people with her, and she was just so kind and so helpful, and so when I went to my gate, I was sitting close to where she was, and I didn't have any of my supplies, any gifts to give or anything, and I thought, well, I don't have anything to give her. I'm not going to do it. And I've done this 100 times before, and it never works. And so I thought, and it was just this angel on my shoulder kept saying, just give her your card. Just give her your card. And so I thought, okay, I've got my card. And so I went up and I told her, I said, I've been watching you, and you are so wonderful with people. You just have been so helpful. You were helpful to me, and I've noticed that you've been so helpful to others. I said, you know, I've got a business card here, and I would love to share Jafra with you. And what I would like for you to do is contact me. And if you can, my information's on the card. I'll send you a gift of Jafra so you can try it. But I would just love to share some information with you. And lo and behold, the next week I got an email from her, and I sent her a gift of Jafra, and she responded as kindly as she was in the airport. And so I'm really excited about following up again with her and seeing what she thought when she got, started using the products and everything. So that was the OCI. And finally, and Vicki said it, and I just really believe this to be true. And I don't know how many, if all of you feel the same way, but there are times that I just feel like I don't know that I've got it anymore. I don't know if I can do it. I mean, when I first started Jafra, I never even thought about quitting because I knew I had to make money. And my other alternative was to go back to teaching, and I knew I didn't want to do that. And so I thought, I have to make it doing this. And so I never really considered quitting. But with these little programs, I mean, it was a significant program. It wasn't a little program, it was a big program. But I thought, gosh, I feel like such a failure. Those girls I'm the only oldie on the team. And I just really, I didn't want to fail in front of them. And it reminded me of when 16 years ago, when Clancy had he had surgery, he had colorectal cancer, and he had surgery, and he ended up, they eliminated all the cancer, but he had to wear a bag for the rest of his life. And that was quite a devastating thing for him to find out. And I remember telling him, just think of your grandkids and he adores the grandkids. And I said, the way you react to this handicap, this tough time in your life, they will look at you and see how you responded, whether you quit or you carry on with grace and courage. And you have an opportunity right now to show them how you would like them to react in a similar situation. And I feel that way with Jafra. I feel that I love my Jafra career. I've been over 40 years with Jafra. I love all of you guys. I want to pass this on to the next generation so they too can have all this wonderful life that we've all had. And I'm sorry. But anyway, that's my goal. And I really want to work as much as I can to do that. So thank you.
Well, you're not done yet. Literally, I mean, Jan, thank you from your heart to our heart. Literally, not joking, we all got to watch Jan just say, no, I'm not done. And literally, this all happened in about 10 days. Not a joke. She just decided. And in 1 week, you would see in our WhatsApp group, okay, in one day, I think you had 4 directs and another indirect was coming in, another indirect. In 48 hours, this woman literally did more than most had in the first 4 weeks. She just decided. And she had told us her story when she came into our group that week and had a safe group to coach with and network with. And the power of a team is incredible. The purpose of this whole story in this segment today is, ladies, where does your team go to have that safe place? These 15 women, no one quit. Literally at 4 weeks, I had a list of 5 that I thought were going. I just stayed. I said nothing. I gave no judgment. I had 5 names written down, and I coached with Neil and Dana every week, and they thought the same, and not one quit. Not one. And they worked until the end of the month. There was momentum change no matter if they hit the goal or not. Did anyone fail? No. Now they have the skills and talent to go forward and do Q1, but take someone else along. The new mantra, as I know with Jackie Elves, is I will succeed from this program now when someone like a Jennifer or someone else earns that quarterly bonus, because that's leaving the gift behind, like Jan said. So congratulations, Jan, achieving that $500 bonus. Amazing. But now life is different in the view of how clearly important it is to leave an impact behind. So thank you for being honest. Thank you for sharing today. Again, I want to complete this segment before we go to the final segment and just say congratulations. May you take from our experience and what we did to what you can do, because all of it was so that it's duplicatable for all of you. There's nothing that you can't duplicate that we aren't sharing with you today and throughout this whole beginning of the year. So thank you, and I'm going to pause our recording.